to ask Jason to get up now. If Tammy can find Jason. There he is. And we're going to have a 5-minute prepper tips from Jason Rikard before... Oh, you didn't know that?
Bring your socks to the camp. And I might add, this is going to be a new feature at every meeting now. 5 minutes.
Okay, I didn't see it in the bulletin, so I didn't know we were doing it tonight, so I didn't come prepared.
It's in the bulletin.
Let me see what I pull out.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This one. Paracord. Let's go with this. Pretty much, I keep some of this with me all the time. My favorite string, rope, whatever you want to call it in the world. Reason being is when we start looking at this stuff, everybody thinks, you know, what can you do with that much rope? Right? There's not much you can really do.
You can't hang yourself with it.
But the thing is, if I had 7 strands of this, I could bind a lot of stuff together. If I had a few strands of this, I could do some more stuff, right? Well, check this out. With this paracord, it's got a neat little deal. Me too. Where I'm going to cut out the ends that I want to do.
Thank you. Good luck.
And I pull this apart. I don't know what the phrasing part on it, but that's going to be good. So, you can strip this stuff out. And now I've got 7 strands of this stuff. Yeah. And the really neat thing is I'm going to pass this around here in a second. Because I want you to see what one strand of this will do. Try and pull that apart and then pass it. Okay.
Are you going to demo sewing somebody up?
What's that?
Are you going to demo sewing
We
somebody
can do that because if you take that strand that I gave everybody now and you split it again, you can split somebody first? Yeah. So if you take this and you split it again, it does become about the size of thread, believe it or not, also. But you can feel how stout this little piece is. I can bind quite a bit of things together with this. I can make a snare out of this. There's multiple things that I can do with this piece of cord. And now I have 7 of these. Plus I still have my sheath that came off of it that is still a good piece of rope. Like I said, I absolutely love this stuff because I don't carry a sewing kit with me. I actually carry this paracord and a couple of needles because when you split it again, you literally do have some of the strongest thread that you could possibly ever think of having. So, if you look, okay. Oh, here they are. So what I do is I key take some needles, and I put needles in some clear tape where I can cut them out one at a time with a knife. And then I've got a needle, I've got some thread, and I've got realistically some of the strongest thread around when you split this down again into the halves. It's much stronger than thread. It's going to bind some pants, whatever I want to bind together, rubber,
skull,
plastic. This stuff will bind a lot of stuff. What's that? Oh yeah, it'll bind skin, no problem. I mean, my thing is realistically, I'm not going to take the time to bind my skin. I carry a pack of steri strips. These things right here, they're basically an over-the-skin stitch. And when you put them on, they bind the skin really, really well. And you can even get an adhesion promoter to bind the skin even better. So I don't stitch, right? It's too messy, and it's also really painful if you don't have anesthetic. So I don't stitch, I just use stuff like that. It's much better, much cheaper, much faster, because I can bind it, and I'm done. I'm not doing stitching. But as far as sewing something up, like a pair of pants, something together, you can do that. For doing a shelter, if you need to do a shelter, you can do that. Another thing we use paracord for a lot is if you want to transport something, if you have your rappel here and you want to pull something across, you can use the paracord. It's a lot easier to get across the river and stuff. And then you can hook a carabiner to it, and you can stash your stuff off. If I'm going to wade through some water or something because it's deep, I can sling multiple things to this, tie it around my waist, and then I'm going to try and hang on to it. Still got my hands for balance. Really, this is one of my biggest lifesavers that I carry. And I mean, you'd be amazed at how much you use it from securing a tarp up when it starts raining and you don't think it's going to rain. And we were out on FTX this weekend, we used it for covering up, just getting the tarp up to where we could eat out of the rain. I can't say enough about the stuff. I really, really, really like it. So that's my big thing for tonight is paracord. And I mean, if you look around and see all the stuff you can do with it, the guys are making bracelets out of it to make it smaller. They pretty much make everything out of it now. And like I say, that sheath is really strong too once you take that and you pass it around. Because that's got a little bit bigger bite to it, so you've also got that. So I really like that. Another thing that I carry on me most of the time is, well, my whole little kit here that I've got, but like a fire starter kit. Everything's smaller in here, but still you'd be amazed at how often you could use something of this size. I mean, just every day, pull it out of your pocket, you've got a few items in there. I've got a flashlight that's basically just a little pin light, but you can see how bright it is. I mean, it's still pretty bright. Lighter, couple of pins, safety pins, another item that I really, really like because you'd be amazed at what you can do with it. From just stitching my zipper whenever it breaks because I ate too much. You know, I mean, seriously. But then you also learn how to secure an airway with it. You can pull out a tongue, run it through the tongue, run it through the lip, and you can secure an airway and leave that guy on the ground. He's breathing now because he's not rolled back. You can't secure an airway if he's getting blooded down there. Whenever you secure that airway, you'll keep him open and breathing. Now I can tend to somebody else, feel it speeding mode. So there's a lot of things you can do with one of these little guys. Another thing that I keep is I keep my crazy glue, because I love crazy glue. I just have a thing, I mean, it'll bond skin instantly, so you can sit and play with it for hours on end at your desk. But beyond that, the little holder that it comes with, I've got a little tape here. But in a little bag like this, something small that you're going to keep in your pockets, you can't keep too much stuff. So you got to kind of triage what you're going to keep. Well, you've heard me speak before, so you know I got this thing with my teeth that I can't stand having stuff stuck in my teeth. So what I do is I take and punch a hole in the end of this crazy glue, and you can see I got my dental floss in that end. And then in this end, I keep aspirin and pain medication in the other end. So I've got both in one neat little funnel. And all I've done is taken a piece of wire, heated it up, stuck it through that end, fed some dental floss in there. And you can see I got a little bit of dental floss in there. So you got to kind of improvise on a lot of this stuff. It's not about buying everything. See what you can make. See what you come up with. Research YouTube. I keep a thing of chapstick in there. There's multiple things a chapstick can do. I mean, you can put it on a piece of wood. It works as a fire starter because it's got petroleum in it. Again, gun lubricant. If I ever need to oil my gun and I dropped it in water stuff, this will seal it up pretty good on the rusty parts. It'll rust pretty quickly. If I'm out for days, take this thing apart, rub it on there, and I've got lubricant for my weapon. Multiple uses for this little guy. You could take a wick, which you can make out of this, take the wick, rub it in there, pull it through, light the wick, it'll burn off the chapstick so you have a little candle that you can use to just be able to see with if you don't have a lighter. Multiple items. So I have a first aid kit in here that consists of very minimal items. How long do I have, or am I just kind of filling a spot? Okay, then I'm just going to keep going.
You're filling.
Until Catherine gets here.
Until Catherine
So-
gets there. Oh,
You run out of energy.
Okay, so
she's
this
here,
is-
so
this
take a
is-
couple. She's here, so take a couple minutes more.
Okay, so
Battery goes dead.
this is, my battery never goes dead. Whenever it does, I sleep for about 4 or 5 hours, and boom, I'm back at it. No, so this is my first aid kit for this vac. There's not much there. But what I do have is I've got a couple alcohol wipes, because normally if I get a scratch or something, that's what I do. And I just wipe it out and do it with alcohol on down the road. If I want to seal it up, I'll do the chapstick rather than a Band-Aid, because the chapstick seems to heal a lot better than a Band-Aid on a scratch. You normally can't get a Band-Aid over it, and it's pointless anyway. So I'll seal it with, wipe it out good, seal it with the chapstick, I'm good to go. And you keep one big Band-Aid for the big boo-boo whenever you tear a chunk of skin out. A couple little Band-Aids for my kids, just in case. Medical tape, that's about 4 feet of medical tape, so I can get around the biggest part of my leg probably twice. So if I do got to put a bandage on, I can. Some triple antibiotic that I stole from a medicine cabinet somewhere along the way. A couple Advil, or alcohol swabs, because those are my favorite. And then a 4x4 and a 3x3. These sponges will absorb quite a bit, and they're not really intrusive on how big they are in your pack, but with them doubled up, they'll absorb a lot of blood, and if you really wrap them tight, you can really make a good bandage out of this. So my favorite things in here are this and my tape, because I can stop a lot of bleeding, I can put a lot of pressure, works really well, and I can stop some pretty good stuff. I mean, I cut my hand one day, I'll tell you this, I had my knife, and I wasn't doing my due diligence on keeping it sharp. So we all know you cut yourself more with a dull knife than with a sharp knife. So I'm wrenching on this stupid zip tie. And I mean, I'm really going to town. And it's a new item that I want open right now. So it's like Christmas time. So I'm wrenching on it, I'm like, this isn't working. So I put my hand here and I give it one good shot, and this knife buried itself about that far in my hand. So it's in there, and I'm like, oh, this is bad. So, of course, I pulled it out, I put pressure on it, and all I had was one of my little packs. So I put that on there, wrapped it around there a few times, got it to stop bleeding. You know what, it bought me the 10 or 15 minutes I needed to, believe it or not, rummage around my house and find what I needed to fix it, because all of the vehicles were gone, and most of my stuff is in my vehicles, not in my house. So, but it did give me enough time to get it fixed, get the pressure on it that I needed, get all the fat stuff back in there, and get it buttoned down, and it bought me the time. So, I mean, you'd be amazed at what you can get out of just a little pack of having it, which is a little bit of time. So, that's my story, guys. So, I'm going to be done and let it roll.